is what you get for having a 1-year-old puppy. Hello, Marvel Rivals YouTube. My name is KarQ. I'm back. I went on vacation to Japan and the Philippines for the past couple of weeks, but I'm back now. You gotta hold me accountable to upload consistently on this damn channel. Flame me if I don't. Let's begin with some hot takes. Ignore my red eyes and my sniffly nose because my allergies are back because I haven't seen my dog in a few weeks since I've been on vacation and my immunity and resistance kind of went down. So I gotta build my defense levels back up. So let's see what the Marvel Rivals community has been saying lately. And so I've heard Black Panther has been a hot topic once again over this past season 3. So let's see what this first take is. Hot take: BP, or Black Panther, is the worst designed hero in this game and should always be kept weak or reworked entirely. No matter how skilled you are or how well you understand how to counter him, it's incredibly difficult to deal with a good BP unless you pick hard counters like The Thing or auto-locking heroes such as Namor and Wanda to shut him down. Even though Iron Fist is generally considered stronger, fighting him feels fair. You have to predict his block and avoid feeding him shields, and he needs to be in your face to deal damage so you're not forced to spin your mouse like crazy just to keep up. Okay, couple of things. Number one, I am a strategist main, and I have a couple things to say about Black Panther. Coming from Overwatch, I have a lot of experience dealing with fast heroes or like quote-unquote one-shot mechanics. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling the pain of just getting one-shot by Black Panther when they're not expecting it with his, double spear to double dash combo. I've dealt with like the Widowmakers in Overwatch that randomly one-shot me. I understand the frustration of playing against one. So the first thing I'm gonna say with Black Panther is that it's less about reacting to him, because a lot of times you can't. It's about anticipating him first. That's one way you deal with him. Number two, as a strategist main, your goal isn't to necessarily kill him, because you honestly can't. Your goal is to survive and run away and dodge, use healing, whatever you can as Cloak and Dagger, throw your bubble down, fly into the air. As Luna, it's very hard to throw the stun on him, but you have to try. Same with Mantis, you have to sleep him. As Loki, you have to teleport away or drop your rune down, so it feels very unfun. Now that's the big point with BP, and it doesn't feel fair in a lot of cases if he catches you off guard because he can burst you down. Now that being said, it's not really your job to counter him. Remember I said your job is to survive as a strategist main. A lot of times you're right though with this take. No matter how skilled you are, the good BPs are usually dealt with by other heroes like the Vanguards or the duelists. But in your average ranked game, those people are not going to be peeling a lot of cases. So like you'll find a lot of strategist mains will have big upvoted stuff on Reddit and big takes all over social media saying BP is unbalanced and unfair, and then all the BP mains come out and be like, he's so easy to counter. He is if like you have some people on the Vanguards or on the duelists actually look at him, because if you play BP, like you try playing BP in a regular game, you'll see that like if you don't have a good timing engagement or somebody turns around the enemy team, it feels like your entire engagement is ruined and you have to run away for so damn long and you're out of the fight for a while. So in essence, he's a very feast or famine hero, but in a lot of cases in most ranked games, because people aren't peeling, people are just going to ban him right now just so they don't have to deal with it, which is understandable. And all that is to say, is he a bad designed hero? Honestly, no. I actually think he's just a little too forgiving with how fast he can do his stuff. I think if they add more skill towards the hero, he'll feel a lot more fair. So here's my personal suggestion. Number one is his spear. Why on earth do I just have to hit the ground for the big AoE to mark a bunch of people? I feel like you should hit the actual spear directly onto a target, and that will make it feel a lot more fair. If you're in an isolated one-on-one and I can actually just strafe a little bit and he whiffs the first spear, the combo is nullified. He might have to burn his second spear in order for him to get the mark, and then maybe he can begin the combo. BP mains will be like, well, that's gonna make him super weak. Well, then I guess if you make contact with the spear, then you can get the AoE splash and anybody nearby can get the mark on them. But then there's no reason that he needs to just be in high ground, have a top-down angle, and just shoot the ground near an enemy and it's like a guaranteed mark. That part feels probably the worst for me, and this is me trying to be the middle ground balancer where you keep some BP mains happy, high skilled ones, but also make it more fair for the strategist. So direct hits with the spear, and to compensate if the spears are really hard to hit, maybe some tuning, you can maybe lower the cooldown to refresh him a little bit quicker. But all in all, I don't think he's the worst design hero. He just needs a little bit of adjustments to make him feel a bit more fair, that's all. Speaking of my allergies, look who's here. This is who's causing my allergies right here. This little puppy right here. This is her as a puppy, but this is her right now. Hey, she's 1 year old. Her name is Michiko. Oh, hi. Hi. You wanna say hi? Hot take. I'd rather have a one-trick Spidey or BP on my team than someone who flexes every role without any mastered. I get that. I understand that perspective from a ranked person. A true flex player is like, what do you call that? You know that quote? It's like jack of all trades, but master of none. If you spread yourself too thin across many heroes, you're not going to be like a hero master or have high mastery of a single hero or two. And especially when the game that's kind of early, we're still like 7 months in. Not enough time has passed where you can assume people have like 100 hours on every single hero that you feel comfortable that they can flex onto that. So I actually agree with this take early on in a game's life cycle. I'd actually much rather have someone who's a one trick on a hero who knows the ins and outs and all the bad matchups versus someone going like, hey person, can you play this hero because it's better for our comp, but they actually only have like 2 hours on the hero. I don't like that personally. Next hot take, team ups have never been more essential than in this season, but it seems like they're the most underrated right now. Iron Man plus Ultron, Strange plus Scarlet Witch, Venom plus Jeff, Punisher plus Widow, and several others are so damn strong. These are difference makers and can be used to counter or balance any comp, whether it be flying, poke, dive, or anything in between. But people aren't using them. It's like we are in the age of anti-team up meta. I mean, this is what you get when you play solo queue, man. You can't assume everybody plays the heroes that like synergize with you. That's like them. That's like you playing like going like, hey, I play Witch. Can somebody please play Strange? Or then you get another game where like you have a Venom and Jeff or a Venom on your team and they're asking you to play Jeff, but you're like, oh, I only play Scarlet Witch, man. I need you to play Strange for me. It's like that saying where it's like, I need everybody to do things for me and play around me versus me playing around you. It's solo queue. Have no expectations. The easiest way to guarantee team ups is to play as a group with some friends who have that in their pool. That's the only way to do it. That's why people aren't using it as often as they should. Next hot take, tanking isn't unfun. People have just been infected with the current zoomer brain epidemic and can't enjoy something that doesn't constantly have visual effects and immediate fake brain simulation injected into them at all times, such as pop-up effects and sounds for kill streaks, big damage numbers, big numbers in the scoreboard, etc. I'm 100% certain that if selecting Magneto came with a portion of your screen playing a Subway Surfer gameplay video, this role would be much more popular. That's quite the take. I'm a pretty hardcore millennial. I'm definitely not a zoomer. I'm in my 30s, but I get the reference. I get the whole, like, you know, then you need the dopamine hits, you need the Subway Surfers, you need ding ding ding, you need the whole, all those funny dopamine sounds and stuff to get you engaged. But there's a lot of tanks that do that, and it's still not a popular role. So like, I think this is quite the stretch. Even before the times of the generation of zoomers, like tanking in World of Warcraft in 2005 and other games, it's just a thankless role. I've said this a million times. It's just a role that is not as engaging because you don't feel the effects of it. The satisfaction of like protecting your team is not as satisfying as you sniping the person's head, because you see the effect of the person's head blow up, but then when you tank, you have to hopefully get the gratitude of the person saying thank you, but most of them don't say it, so you don't get that satisfaction. I can see where you draw the line where it's like, oh, you know, they need the dopamine hit of the snipe and the boom and the explosion, versus you blocking something for your team. You don't get any boom or explosions. You just need your teammates to thank you. So for that, I need everybody here to thank their tanks or their vanguards for playing vanguards. Thank them for protecting you. Next hot take is Black Panther, oh, another Black Panther one, is the worst dive DPS in the game. All right, that's certainly quite the hot take considering how much he's getting banned right now. My goodness. I still think Iron Fist is better. I play both, and why does half the roster counter BP? I think statistically, didn't Iron Fist end up with a higher win rate on average than BP? This is where, like, you know, win rates and stats don't correlate with player perception on how a hero feels to play against or play with. Now, you're obviously biased because you play both dives, BP and Iron Fist, and Iron Fist generally may have more consistent moments where you're consistently doing good things for your team, and BP is a very feast or famine hero, like I mentioned earlier. You either pop off really hard or you don't. But you can't argue that Black Panther can have higher highs and probably lower lows. Like, you could definitely have like 50 kill games way more easier as BP than Iron Fist. It's just the nature of the hero. Next hot take is there's nothing wrong with playing low skill characters. Not a hot take, I agree. Nothing wrong with playing easy, accessible heroes. The problem therein lies where when the easy, accessible hero does a little too much for how much skill is required to pilot the hero. Next hot take is they're adding new characters too often. Let these goated devs rest a bit. They've already slowed down the cadence quite a bit. They were adding new characters like crazy. Season 1, Season 0, Season 1, Season 2, all a Fantastic Four, but they've definitely slowed down a lot. It's all good. Next hot take is Hela and Luna Snow, the two heroes that have been rated S tier in practically every online ranking since launch, are not overpowered. They do great damage and healing respectively, but are glass glass cannons that are easily countered by many brawl dive heroes in the game. Their low win rate, yes, even at high ranks, reflects this. For a bonus, Iron Man is one of the strongest duelists in the game, almost as strong as Torch. Storm is also very strong. Unlimited Flight is an insane ability that hasn't been fully appreciated by the community. Flyers naturally counter over half the roster and are difficult for most teams to deal with effectively. I actually disagree with this take. I actually do think Hela and Luna are, I wouldn't say overpowered. I'm not going to use the word overpowered, but they're like on the stronger side of a good generalist hero. Like you can slot them into any team comp. There's going to be heroes in the game that are like comp specific and a little bit more niche, but Hela and Luna can literally go in any comp and be very effective. And that's what's making them super, super reliable season after season after season. They do very well, like damage and healing, like you said, but you said they're glass cannons, but that's like every hero. Almost every hero in the game is 250 HP, if not 275, 300. 250 is the minimum, if I'm not mistaken, right? The idea that they're glass cannons is not a great argument that they're not overpowered because everybody else is kind of the same HP. It's all relative, right? Other than the Vanguards. And then some of the more like brawly melee heroes have a little bit more HP. Your next hot take is that Iron Man is one of the strongest duelists. I actually agree with this. I do think Flyers, I mean, you can see why like Storm previous season was banned a lot, and there was Torch, and then Iron Man was banned early season 0. Flyers are actually stronger on console as well. So you'll see a disproportionate amount of people complain about Flyers when you have hit scans on console who are not Zimmers, and they can't deal with Flyers doing a lot. It happened in Overwatch where Pharah had to get specific balancing on console because people couldn't aim as hit scans in that game early on before Zims took over. Zimming XIM is kind of the cheating thing where like you use a mouse and keyboard on console with aim assist and stuff, but we won't go down there. Next hot take is stop telling Cloak and Dagger players to not use half their kit. The amount of times people wrongly assume I'm strictly a DPS Cloak and Dagger because I'm using my swap for the reload cooldown and other kit and tell me to just use Dagger is actually grinding my gears. You wouldn't tell anyone else to not use half their abilities. Cloak's abilities are useful. I can save you from like half the ults in the game if you trust me. Not a hot take. There's just a lot of people like to backseat everybody else on their team when they don't get what they want from somebody, especially supports or strategists. It's like if you see the Cloak and Dagger switch forms for a second and they're DPSing for a second, they're like, ah, you're not healing me, go back to the other form. I see your frustration and you're right. People need to, not a hot take, people need to stop telling not only C and D players, but literally any player, stop backseating the other person being like, why aren't you using XYZ ability on me? A lot of cases it's like, oops, maybe you did make a mistake, or in other cases they're focused on something else. And obviously everybody makes mistakes and people aren't going to be playing or assessing the game state in the perfect way that you anticipate it to. Just gotta like move on. At least that's how I deal with it. But like, you know, what you're saying is totally valid. People just need to stop backseating in general. It literally tilts the other person and it just makes everything just feel like shit. Next hot take is that Rocket's dashes are perfectly fine now and in tune with other strategists' escape tools now. Learn to wall run a little more. You know, I actually agree with this take. I thought Rocket's dashes early on, the fact were actually insane. And if you knew how to wall run dash tech where you like bounce off the wall, you get like super dash distance. It was actually a little bit insane. He's already a super small hero with a tiny hitbox, and the fact that he had so much dash distance in the past was a little crazy, and he has easy baseline value by spamming. I think his dashes are actually in a good spot right now, so I agree with this. The only thing I'd like to point out is that people don't like things taken away from them when they've already experienced something. It's a psychology thing and like, you know, business as well. When you give a player something and then you take it away, it will always feel worse than them never have experienced it at all. So the fact that people tasted what a long dash, rocket dash feels like, and then you take that away, the rocket players are gonna be like, oh, it just feels terrible, it feels bad. Well, yeah, because you got used to the other one. But objectively speaking, I think it's in a lot healthier spot. All right, I think I'm gonna cut it off there. Leave some more fresh hot takes. Season 3.5 is around the corner. See you guys then. We're gonna cover Blade and we're gonna cover the patch notes pretty soon. Bye.